Chat, it's time for me to just ramble about stupid pop culture shit. All right? And this is what I want to talk about today. Vampires in media. They fucking suck. All right? Hear me out. In concept. Hold on. Hold on. Don't get mad. Don't get mad. Right now, vampires in media are nowhere near reaching their potential. Not even close, all right? Vampires should be ridiculous. Morbid out. Vampires should be ridiculously OP, super powerful creatures capable of extreme feats of strength and superhuman shit, right? That should just be on a base level what any vampire in media should be able to do. Okay? That includes like some level of like a sort of healing factor, some kind of like ability to go super duper fast, way faster than a normal human, maybe flight, stuff like that is on its own. I think flight's good too. Yeah, flight. Yep, flight. I'm gonna go with flight. Those should be base vampire superpowers in any vampire media. Okay, I'm tired of pretending. I'm tired of pretending it shouldn't be. Okay. Next, I'm gonna get into the unlived potential. All right, you guys are gonna be surprised, but I feel like of all bits of media that have done a decent job of kind of like dipping their toes into potentially reaching the apex of the representation of vampire powers is the baseball scene in Twilight. Every one of you who had a girlfriend that made you watch that ass movie, that was the one part of the movie where you're like, oh. And then it's over and you're like, eh. Like, that was the one part of the movie. That was pretty good. Everybody liked that part of the movie, all right? Everybody liked it. They were using super speed, super strength. They were like, they have to play baseball in the thunder because in rainstorms because it's so loud when they hit the ball. Don't even get me started on how that works with not breaking the ball or the bat. But regardless, the concept, it sounds cool, okay? The idea of being so physically strong that you have to, if you play baseball on a sunny day, people will think that there are gunshots going off. So you have to do it during a thunderstorm. That's pretty cool, okay? They had it right there. There was a few other scenes where they had it right. I think at one point there was a character who, like, punches an entire boulder in half effortlessly. Stuff like that I found really cool. But then, in Twilight, all of the fights are so boring, okay? You know, here's a really good example. You know the fight in the new episode of The Boys between Homelander, Huey, Soldier Boy, and Butcher, like the big battle they have. The level of destruction and like force behind like every punch and everything in that fight should be the bare minimum of what you would get in the average vampire media for a fight. I was so upset that we didn't see like a vampire pick up a boulder and throw it at a werewolf or something like that. That's the kind of shit I would like to see in vampire media. All right? You know what would be really good? You know what I hope they do in the MCU? I hope Blade is fucking good. Who is it that's playing Blade? I forgot what his name is. Mahershala Ali. Okay, cool. Yeah. The casting is good, and the bits of what we've seen so... No, Wesley Snipes is the old Blade. We're talking about the new Blade and the new upcoming Blade. I really hope the new Blade... Is it going to be a show or a movie? I really hope it's a Disney Plus show, more so than a movie. I really hope they make it more like Moon Knight in tone and everything. And what I really hope they do is that they do a decent job of adapting vampires. A vampire superhero like Blade, I want him to be doing all of the cool shit that I've talked about and more. Maybe not flight. Not a lot of characters in the MCU can just fly. It's a little bit of that's a high level thing to just be able to do. Just flight. But Michael Morbius? Morbius isn't in the MCU, my friend. Does not count, my friend. Morbius is also not a real movie, my friend. Why not a Morbius show? Why not just choke on my hairy ballsack after a 5-mile run out in the heat? Why don't you just do that instead? I'm trying to think of something that did vampires well. I can think of a scene from Buffy, or maybe it was Angel that did vampires that I thought was really good, where Angel jumps out of like a 6-story window and falls all the way to the ground and smashes into a car down below, and he just kind of gets up and is like cracking his neck, like, oh, a fall can't kill me, but it still sucks. Like, I liked that. Things like that where it's like a reminder, oh my god, vampires, you don't fuck with that shit. I like it. I like when shows and media are willing to like go extravagant and crazy with the amount of destruction as well caused by like a fight between like two supernatural beings as well. And I feel like a lot of stuff didn't do that well. Like, oh god, I'm sorry, but Supernatural's vampires, they were just people that were maybe a little bit more strong than the average person, like enough that like they could realistically overpower Sam or Dean in a fight when they need to for this plot reasons, but also still weak enough that Sam and Dean can take on multiple of them at once in a fight at the end of the episode when it's time for them to win and wrap everything up. Like, Supernatural had some terrible vampires. At least they were creative with the whole, oh, well, you gotta cut off their head, it's not a steak, and they don't turn to dust. It's like, okay, cool. And they can be in sunlight, I think. They just don't like it. Have you seen Vampire Night? I think it did vampires pretty well. The purebloods hold the kind of power you have. The humans could turn into a vampire, and then if humans are turned by pureblood, yeah, maybe that's good. But is that like are you talking about like a book or something? I feel like books have done it pretty well. Ironically enough, what was it? Interview with a Vampire. If I remember correctly, the powers described in Interview with a Vampire are pretty damn on the mark in the book. And I hate Anne Rice, okay? Anne Rice's writing sucks absolute dog shit, okay? I'm sorry. If you're an Anne Rice fan out there, you're gonna have to cope and seethe for a minute, because my mom bought me like 10 Anne Rice books, all of them vampire related, because that loved loved vampires. Something about vampires and Anne Rice, just loved them. My mom got me all of these Anne Rice books, and they were all about vampires. And I read Interview with the Vampire, and I remember very little of it, other than thinking, well, at least the vampire powers are pretty dope. It really is. I had to debate you into agreeing with me. I was like, Mom, listen to this paragraph. And then I like read a whole 2 pages, and you were like, oh my god, she spent 2 pages describing this room. It's like, yeah, it's very slow and dry and boring. JoJo did vampires well. Vampires only really work if they represent the aristocracy, due to honor being a reflection of what society is scared of. I like that as well. That's also very cool. Like the idea of a vampire being so powerful they're untouchable, because that's the point, right? They should be so unfeasibly powerful, and they can have the aristocratic sort of aesthetic to them, but really it's about them being physically and everything like that untouchable, very much like the aristocrats they're inspired by, you know? I think that'd be a cool way to modernize vampires in media. The 80s Fright Night movie did vampires perfectly. I haven't seen that, so I can't say. I'm trying to think of something else that did it well. Can't really think of anything. Ironically enough, Adventure Time. Yeah, no. Adventure Time. Marceline's power set was like OP. Marceline was without a doubt the most powerful character on the entire show. Like, of the main cast. She could turn invisible, right? She could fly and break the sound. There was an episode where she thought Ice King was gonna die, so she flies really fast and she breaks the sound barrier. It does a sound barrier breaking noise when she takes off to fly. So she's literally like capable of flying fast enough to break the sound barrier. She's got like super strength. She's half demon, half vampire. She can suck out people's souls, transform her body. She's OP as shit. There's a good example for you. Adventure Time did a good job with vampire representation. The Stakes miniseries could have been done a little better, but I think it was actually probably one of the better ones. Alucard and Hellsing. I'm going to be real. All I know about Alucard and Hellsing is the Hellsing abridged videos Balthasar made me watch. All I know from those is that Alucard is a funny memer guy. True Blood? Okay, I've never seen True Blood. All I know is that it was like vampire Game of Thrones. Is that true? True Blood was just vampire Game of Thrones? Weirdly, yes. You should watch Hellsing. It's really good. Balth is gonna make me. God damn, I'm in Canada and Balthazar's making me watch anime. Oh no. Okay, chat. The chat in the hat. The chat with the mat, with the lat, and the slap. If you enjoyed this segment, like the video, like the stream, like the VOD if you're watching it after the fact. If you want to see more from me, subscribe with the bell icon, turn on all notifications, and if you want to see more from me online, you can follow my social medias, all linked down below. You can also donate, subscribe, or gift a sub to me on my website if you've got the money for it, and you donate it for anything else. And you can also support me on YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, and Patreon. With all that said, thank you so much for watching, and have a good one.